Hey, how's it going, Taco fan? So, this is going to be the last deck profile and discussion before Nats this year, next week. So, I entered a 1K, got some testing in. So, I finished third after Swiss. There was 5 rounds of Swiss. Finished third, and then in Top Cut, me and the finalists, we decided to split in the end. So, yeah. So, this is the deck profile. I'll go ahead and talk about some of the changes I made. For the most part, it's pretty standard from what y'all been seeing me post about. But let's get into it. Alright, so pretty much nothing changed in the main deck. Not that I can really think of. Maybe like one thing, but still the same with the Aluber and Alves. I still think you need 3 a lot. Personally, I like 2 of each of the sisters, and having 2 Quims keeps coming up a lot and keeps helping me a lot when I'm playing, especially against Kashtira. Because once they out the first one, like a lot of your ways to interrupt them that way are gone. So I think 2 and 2 is really good. So something different. So I decided to cut Kit, and I think that Albion and Mercurier, at least right now, are the only ones that are really necessary. Like Kit felt like it wasn't very good going second, so I knew I was always siding it out. So why not just make my deck have less fat in it and more things that are, proactive and helps me in some of my worst matchups too. So I decided to just play these. And for cutting the Kit, I ended up playing the one Maximus. So Max was really good. Max actually won me my top 4 to get me into the finals. With a card that I play in my extra deck, there's a reason why. Like, just the fact that Max gives you a lot of pluses. And I'm not doing it for the gimmick lock or anything like that, because that still takes a lot of cards. But I am playing that. So we'll get to that momentarily, which is, the one puppet. So I decided just to play it. The card's really good, but I don't like the investment that you have to have for this card to really work. I would much prefer Jowgen, even though Jowgen's a little bit easier to out. Jowgen also doesn't really cost discards for it to function. So this was still good. I only puppeted once today, but it was cool. And I just played the 2 Bestials. Still don't feel comfortable playing any more than this, but you still kind of need them. They still come up. And I'll run through the spells and stuff really fast. There's nothing's really changed. The 12 cards I pretty much said don't ever change, in my opinion. Fusion, Opening, Servant, and the Deployment. So all these cards were amazing. Because of Thrust, which y'all know I'm playing, it actually won me my top 4 and playing against Cash because of I was able to get to this card. So it was really good, actually. Sorry about that. My dog's in the background. Then for the 1-up branded cards, the same 3. I'm not playing white anymore. I don't think it's necessary. When we're able to play more Bestials, I probably might end up playing it. But at least for now, I'm kind of liking without it. And like I said, I wanted to cut down all the fat that I could out of the deck just to make it as consistent as possible. I didn't draw very well round 1. And that was my only loss today. And unfortunately, it was horrible because I had games 1 and 2, had hands of just 1 play. It got stopped. The game was over. So, and that's what happened. So I pretty much lost that. Then for some non-engine cards, I like 3 books. I think this is standard in this deck. I feel like you have to play it. Even if you're not playing against Cash, it still helps you dodge a lot of stuff. It helped me in one of my matchups today. So I think that's really good and interesting. And obviously against Cash, it's really good. I typically don't take this card out of my deck. Maybe if I'm going first, I might take 1 out, depending, based on side and patterns. So that's one of my non-engines. Then y'all know I play the Thrust engine. Shout out to Haltesia Gaming for lending these to me. So this engine's really good. And also shout out to my boy Keon. He's been lending this to me, being a champ. But This card was really insane today. So was this. Like, just having thrust to get to pretty much any card in my deck is like really good. And I think it just belongs in this deck, especially going into Nats. If you want to take Branded to Nats, you have to play this card, in my opinion. Because other than that, I wouldn't even be playing Branded at Nats. It's going to be way too hard. You're going to be playing like 12 to 16 rounds with Branded. So if you don't know the deck, you're going to struggle. If you don't have really good hands to where you can play through a lot of the stuff, like obviously barriers and stuff like that. So you got to keep that kind of stuff in mind. And that's without trying to like play stuff like Cross Out, which to me, I feel like it's not really needed, and they brick a lot. Call by cards, insane. Wish it was at more than one, not really. Then my two cards, trap cards that I decided to play. Obviously the engine requirement, this card's insane. Being Solemn Warning, it does come up a lot, but just getting resources back is good. And this card was one of the MVPs as well. Like, just thrusting into this, as y'all know, is really good. So that's it for the main deck. None really changed that much. 40 cards. I think the only thing I'm probably going to change, I'm probably just going to take the Puppet out and just play Jowgen again. I just think it's better. Even if it's easily outable, I'd rather just do that. For the extra, still on 2 Jade, 2 Albion, 1 Lubellion. Don't think this is really going to change, honestly. Don't care if Cash hits any of those. Sanctifier and Alba, these two boss monsters, they are amazing. Sanctifier is how you win a lot of the games if you're not looping Mirror Jade a million times. Alba's really good. It helped me out in a lot of matchups. Like, even if some of your hands aren't that good, if your opponent ends their board with any dragons and you open Albaz, that already clears them, and that's helped me a lot. So I still consider that a staple to me, but it's up to you guys. So the other two is Rembrum and Titanclad. Both of these cards are insane. I did some of them once. They kept being thrown to the graveyard, and they were absolutely really good. I cut Sprint because obviously I'm not playing Kit right now because I don't think it's necessary. It's a personal opinion though. Aquarius, this card actually won me my top 4 again when I played against Cash, because I was able to do all this first, Fusion Summon, then Nadir Servant afterward. Just making their monster 0 so they couldn't do any damage to me mattered. Chimera, not much to say about this. You kind of have to play this card. This card's really good. Deals with back row decks, and that's what we like to hear. 2 Grand Guignol, I still think you need to. It's up to you if you actually want to play 2, but I feel like the more you play this deck, you'll see the lines where 2 of them comes up a lot. And then for the main reasons why I played Nadir Servant with the Maximus, is because of these 2 cards. These cards were bananas. Like, this drawing me in the side deck cards, I thought that was really good. This plus Big Albion in the main deck, just drawing 2 cards is really good. You have talents, you could draw 2 cards, which is pretty good. And Malong is really good too, because you get to bounce Floodgates. And in top 4, when I did Nadir Servant, this is the target I sent to search Max. And then this bounced the Shanger Era back to the extra deck, which mattered a lot. And actually ended up winning me that match. So I think y'all should give it a try. If y'all have Lulu, y'all could play it, but if I had Lulu, that was a slot that it was, but I felt like Malong was a little bit better, especially for the event that I was building my deck for. All right, now side deck, it's about to get a little weird. I'm only playing 1 Bestial. Cause you go into Nats, you're probably gonna see, yes, you might see a lot of light and dark decks and stuff like that, but imagine how many people you're gonna sit down just playing Cash, and you don't want to just sit there, have a handful of Bestials, and you can't even do anything, to be honest with you. I wish we could really play it, because this deck would be even better, because Bestials are how you play through Barrier. Barrier wasn't as big of a problem until Cash prevented us from playing as many Bestials. Well, they're not preventing us from playing them, it just, our deck inherently gets worse against them if we play a lot of Bestials. So I just played the 1 Magna. Just, you can send it if you need it on Fusion. You could search it with Lubellion, and then this could get any dragon in your deck. So pretty simple. So I played Sage the Fleur. So this is basically my version of Cosmic Cyclone. I actually prefer this a lot more because this card does not lose to anti-spell. and that's one of the main things that matters. Like, if you draw this against those kind of floodgates, you kind of in a good position here, to be honest with you. And if some of y'all are playing duality, she's a level 8 spellcaster, so wink wink, I guess that could come up, you know, tagging something, granting y'all or something into it, you know. But just being able to pop face up cards and face down cards too, that matters a lot as well. Something different, I decided to play 3 Lava Golem. So yes, you can't normal summon the turn you do that, but who cares if you just need to really break their board. With the way I built this deck, I shouldn't have to normal summon that often unless I need to, especially post side, because some of the fluff does come out. Like if I'm going second, Merc Carrier's typically not in my deck. It's like hit or miss if I take it out, but depending on how my opponent plays decides whether or not certain cards like that come out. But like Nadir Servant comes out of the deck, so these are really good to have, to be honest. Like just being able to get rid of their board that threatens you and then continually play is actually really good. And being able to burn them. So I guess it's technically a burn card, but it's not for that reason. I mean, if you have Sphere mode, I would probably play that, but I just had Golem, so I just played it. And then for some more thrust targets, so playing Duster because back row decks, and Dark Hold. So this is mainly for Ibly, but hey, I can thrust into it as well. So this is because Cash and Sprite, if you're going to Nats, you're probably going to be seeing them main deck that a lot. And that's how they're going to knock the lower tier players out of the tournaments pretty early, by playing those kind of blowouts where they win the roll, they're giving you an Ibly. So if you're not prepared for it, you're going to get punished. And if you're going to Nats, obviously good luck, but you want to try to be prepared for that kind of stuff. So if you do take Branded, I feel like you got to play this. Even if you take anything else, I feel like you still got to play it, unless your deck can link summon. And just clearing the whole board is really good anyway. I decided on 2 Dark Ruler, 2 reasons, well, a couple reasons actually. To break boards, you can thrust into it, and I feel like you might need this. The only problem with this, if they Ibly you, it does nothing. So yeah, that's why we played that. But to complement it, I'm actually also playing the 2 Econ. So this card, as y'all know, I talked about it before, it's for Baguska and Ibly. Play against the Ibly, you contribute it, and take control of something. If you go against Baguska, I'm not taking it. I'm switching it to attack mode so I can play, to be honest. And I feel like a lot of branded lists should be playing this card. A lot of people not really respecting that, but this game has gotten so fast, you really don't got time to really think like you're just going to straight up just survive. So this card actually helps a lot. So, and then I played Eradicator, as y'all know. I drew this in top 4 and it was horrible when I drew it. That was actually what I ended up drawing off Garura. It was not fun because I wish I opened the card instead. And the Cash player actually opened a lot of spells. So that would have been great, you know, especially because I was going first game 3. So yeah, but it's all good. It worked out. And my last tech, I'm playing the Daruma Cannon. I know it's going to look weird, but you mainly do this for thrust because Cash tier is important. You're going to see a lot of it. So why, instead of just playing 3 Book of Moons, when I can at least play 4, and at least this one will be searchable. Yes, it's a trap, but sometimes if I were you guys playing this, I would probably still even side going second, to be honest, because if you get barriered, this is one of the ways that you survive against that deck. Like, so they do whatever. If they go to battle, they play into this card. If they try to keep playing and they try to make a really big board, you just flip everything down to just survive. So, and against those untargetable monsters and stuff, and monsters that are unaffected and all that, you can use this to deal with it. So overall, the event was great. I'm gonna go over my rounds really fast. So round 1, played against Sorso. Like I told you guys, I opened garbage. Games 1 and 2, where I literally had 1 play. It got stopped, and I had to pass, and they proceeded to OTK me. On top of them having hand traps anyway. Round 2, played against the mirror. This was like a different mirror though. It was like there was Red Eyes Fusion in the deck, so I was just wondering where that was gonna go, but that's all right. Round 3, I played against Trap Trick, Edgar. Shout out to you. Yeah, ended up having to make sure I managed everything correctly. He was even astounded that I actually understood how to play against that deck, where as long as my fusion summons are higher than Chainlink 1, then his trap poles don't do anything to my deck, and I just kept abusing Mirror Jade. Round 4, played against Super Heavy Adamantipator. That deck is crazy. If they go first, blow them out. Hey, there's not too much most people can do, but as long as I understood the assignment, I think I was okay. And round 5, I played against Dragons, and I drew. Coincidentally, the person I drew with was the one who I split with in the finals. So top 8, played against the Super Heavy Adamantipator deck again. I ended up winning that one. And then top 4, I played against Cash. So that was a very interesting event. It was a lot of high-level players there. Even though it might have been a smaller tournament, it was a 1K. There was 1,000 on the line. So, you know, everybody was there to win. So everybody played with what they knew. Everybody was prepared for every deck pretty much. I know this was a little bit of a longer video. Please be patient. And hopefully you still stuck around to the end of the video. I'm trying to be more consistent with the content, and I'm really trying to get y'all's attention and engage with you guys and try to grow the family, because I was looking at the analytics. Unfortunately, we did lose a subscriber. Unfortunate. But y'all tell me what I could do to do better content as I'm working on everything, because I don't have all the best equipment. And sorry about that last video. That actually wasn't from any of my recording setups, but I'm trying. So hopefully y'all keep rocking with me. Appreciate all of y'all who's still here. Good luck in Nats if you go. Maybe you might see me. Who knows? If you do, say what's up. All right. Peace, Talker fam.